Hi. Okay, what do you do when it's below zero and you don't want to go out? I sat and I watched a bunch of YouTube videos, and I just get a little bored doing the same thing, and I have to start thinking outside the box again. I'm just getting a little bored with all of the same things, and I was on a kick with the little mini composition books. And I was watching one of the videos, or a few of them, and they were making their own Midoris on their own travel notebooks and stuff. And I thought, you know what? Let me see what I have. I'm not going to go out. I'm not going to buy any more supplies. I'm going to use what I have. So this is that faux leather that I had. I mean, I've made flowers out of it. I've made a mini notebook for my cousin that I mailed out. I covered a couple of my chairs with it. And so I'm improvising with the supplies that I have here today. So what I did in some of these videos, and I'll put a link to the video on, or the two videos that I got the inspiration. And let me get out my little case here, and I'm going to show you. I bought these at, it had to be Joann's. These are the Tim Holtz fasteners. Some of them are just the shorter ones, and then some of them are the longer ones. I think you can, let me see if I put the paper here. I think you can see what they look like. These, and then these. So I had a few of these. So what I did, I improvised on what I had. Let me throw this in here for a minute. So I took this, and I took one of the three mini composition books that you get at the dollar store, and I opened it up like this, and I traced around it, and I added a little bit extra for the spine. I made a template, so if I want to make more of these, I can. So there it is, out of this faux leather. And my ruler. It's approximately, because like I say, I cut it to the length that I wanted, but it was 7 1/4. And what I did is I just did the half mark, and it's like 3 1/2. And then so that when you fold it, it's like this. And I just eyeballed it, but I made 2 holes. One is about maybe, I don't know, 1/4 of an inch, and another 3/4 of an inch from the top. So there's 2 here. I don't know if you can see that or not. Let me get another white piece of paper. I don't know if you're going to be able to see the holes or not, but there is the 2 here, the 2 there, and then in the center mark. And the center mark here is about 2 3/4 down from the center, so 2 3/4, and I made a hole there. So if you can see that, I think you might be able to see the holes, maybe not. Okay, because it's dark, you can't really, I don't think you can really see, but so there are 2 holes here, a hole in the center, and 2 holes here. So I made my template. This is my template. Okay, so now the elastic. Either you're going to have your own length of elastic and then pull it the length to make it a little bit taut, or use these. But you would do one and then tie the knot. But since I have this, so what I'm going to do is go to the inside out, and then the out back in, and that fastens that. and then I go from the top inside to out, and then out to inside, and there's your fastener. Seeing how it's kind of rounded, because that's what I want. It's just a little bit of give so that it gives a hold. And then you take your book, and I just eyeballed it halfway. And if you can kind of see, there's the elastic there, and whoops, and there's the elastic there. So here's the cover. And because I'm not really worried about this too much, because these, you know, I rip out. I'm not going to save these pages. This is just for notes and then to just rip out. I'm not going to save this book. That's why I thought, instead of just covering it and put it in my purse, excuse me, I would rather make a cover for this. Then what I did is I took elastic again, and it was one of these, the bigger ones. Here's the short ones, and here's the longer one. And what I did is I made that center hole, and I slip it through here. Pull it tight. Took the elastic, wrapped it around there, wanted to see approximately where I wanted the elastic to go. Kind of work with it a little bit. Got to work with it a little bit. Tied a knot. And I could make another knot too and put a pen in here if I wanted to, but I don't like carrying the pens with the booklet. I suppose it could fit in here if I didn't make it as tight, or a smaller pen. I don't really want to do that, but if you wanted to make the loop a little smaller, you could probably actually clip a small pen in here too if you wanted to. But I didn't want to do that, and you can modify it the way you'd like. But here is a little cover that I can go ahead and reuse over and over again. And I will show you at the end how I'm going to embellish. I'll probably just add a little bit, just a little bit of an embellishment. But if you have leftover, I don't think material, I think if you have leftover a little piece of leather or a faux leather, I don't know, give it a try. I just thought I'd do something a little different since it's so cold out and snow on the ground and there's no way I'm going out. So that was my one little project. And the other little thing too, talking about little things, I am starting to make inchies. These are, I cut out, these are some of the blank ones. I just went through a few of my little punches that I have, and I thought, well, naturally I'm going to do my paw print. So I have the paw prints, and then I had a heart. I have a couple other small ones, but I just wanted to do this first just to experiment with it. And this is the Tim Holtz tissue paper. I have this Fiskars 1/2 inch. I'll show you what it looks like. Like a little postage stamp. That's a 1/2 inch one. And then what I did is I had these Fiskars, the heart, the star, and I can't see what this is. This is Oh, this is an EK Success paw print. So all I did was just cut out a square piece of paper and then, I'm sorry, I punched it and then I cut it out, the square. It's a lot easier to do it that way. So I used the hearts. I didn't use the stars yet. I didn't know what to do because, like I say, I'm still experimenting on these inchies. So I cut out a bunch. So these are the only 4 that I did right now. And I went online and I found these images. These are the ones I really like. These are naturally the birds, and then here's some floral. Got those, and I get the birds. So this is something, a little something to do now that it's so cold and really can't go out. So here are some of the ones that I already cut out. And what I'll do is I'll do a background or whatever, and I'll sand down the edges to make them a little bit more square. And like I say, I'm still learning to do this, so I'm assuming that once I start getting into these little inchies, I'll be able to embellish them a little bit more, but I don't want to, naturally it's so little that you can't do too much embellishments on them, but I thought they were really cute. So this is something else I'm starting to do, so I thought I wanted to share that with you too. But again, I will show you at the end exactly how I finished embellishing it. I will put the links down below. They do it a lot better explaining than I do, but this is what you can do with your little mini composition books. So, thanks for watching. Bye.